Yes guys, hope you are all well. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to potentially a 4-day of eating on a high day. Potentially, I don't know yet. The time is 5:15. We have been up since about 4:30. I got out of bed at about 10 to 5. My body is waking me up at 4:30. Just really restless now. Right at this point, normally I'd be on the walking pad doing steps. I normally box off 5,000 to 6,000 steps before 6 a.m. But I messaged Jake last night and I was like, I need to listen to my body here. My body is screaming with fatigue and how it feels. So do you mind if I get up and do 1,000 steps and then call it a day there? Because regardless, even if we're not putting food in, I need some level of the output. Because I am truly going to bed and having periods of the day where I can barely move my legs. And this morning I'm like fucking tripping over myself. So I really need to listen to my body, and this is where, fatigue management is key. And for someone like me who's so busy doing so much, I really need this now managed massively before going into the show. So potentially a high day or potentially just a normal 4-day of eating, we'll see. We had a high day on Tuesday, 800 carb, we went up 2 pounds, we then dropped 3.5 pounds, and then we're down again today. Okay, so we've hit 2 new lows after one singular high day. We've still got body fat to come off, absolutely, but I think we're at that stage where we can push and pull now, especially with me and knowing my physique. Like, if you sit me at baseline, I will just drop and drop here. But not only that, I'm fucking chronically fatigued. So yes, there's an element that is necessary in a prep where you are going to feel like this, but then there's also that fine line between what's too much and what's unnecessary. So it is, as I said, 5:15. We'll get back to a few international clients because some check-ins have come through, and then we'll go outside and we'll pose. And we'll wait to hear back from Jake for the plan of action for the day. So guys, please like, subscribe, strap in, and we'll see you across the day. So we have just checked in, we've found the microphone as well, so it should be a lot better sound. And we've dropped again, we're a lot sharper. So we've got 1,000 gram of carb going in today. We've been running 800 gram carb high days, we're putting 1,000 in today. Firstly, I am just making my rice pudding meal, which is meal 2, but I'm gonna make it now. Stick it in the freezer so it's nice and cold, because I do prefer it cold, and it digests much better cold for me, because when I have a large bolus of warm water, that's when it just draws water into my gut and I'm straight at the toilet. We've had a lot of digestive issues this prep. To be honest, we've had quite a lot of issues, which I'll touch upon probably after the prep. But we're managing them the best that we can. Everything's improved. I've actually got a consult with Austin Stout today in order to go through my own digestive issues. But you'll see today from the food choices and food sources, it is quite high volume, but that's because I can't utilise a lot of fruits, dates and things like that. Muffins, cookies, I know, like, I wouldn't load with that or off plans, but getting 1,000 gram of carbs is quite tough. But I can't slam jam, dates, fruits and stuff, squares really. So everything's very much low histamine, super plain. So yeah, making meal 2, then we'll make meal 1 and we'll have that, and I'll show you what that is. But meal 2 is just rice pudding, honey, a bit of banana and a bit of whey, which is, I'm looking forward to, because I've not had rice pudding in a while, to be fair. Here we have got Hydromax, had some partially hydrolyzed guar gum for digestion, taking some morning sups, and with meal 1 we'll have my morning coffee as well. Alongside every meal today, we are taking obviously my Turbo Digest, but we're also taking Glycotank, Engine the Muscles, GDA, which contains dihydroberberine, which is a more potent form of berberine. This is really fucking good. So we're taking that to improve the uptake of the nutrients and the nutrient partition and whatnot, with the big carbohydrate meals, which is all 6 of them today. We're also going to reduce general supplementation a little bit as well, just so there's not loads and loads of fucking sups going through my gut all day. Meal 2 has been made and prepared and popped in the fridge. There was no space in the freezer, so I hope it's cold enough. But meal 1, we have got 275 gram of sourdough, 10 gram of cashew butter, 20 gram of honey. We've got 30 gram of vegan whey with 50 gram of blueberries. Any more than 50 gram of blueberries and I cannot digest them well. So sometimes, guys, it's not actually just the food. Sometimes it's the quantity of the food as well itself. This meal's totals are 44 protein, 12 fat and 138 gram of carbs. Total protein across the day has come right down. So my chicken servings, my whey servings are right down. My salt has actually been slightly changed as well. I've gone in chronometer and worked out the full high day in there. And so I've actually adjusted my salt intake. Normally I have 6 gram pink salt, 6 gram low salt. Today I am just having 10 gram of low salt. The reason being is because sodium's obviously been massively bumped up with the amount of sourdough and whatnot. And then same with incidental proteins coming a lot from the sourdough and stuff. So we're going to tuck in and eat this. We've got 140 carb going in to begin with, meal 1. And then, yeah, very much excited to eat this because sourdough, this is my favourite meal every day, my sourdough and my vegan whey. This vegan whey trained by JP, chocolate pistachio, is just absolutely sensational. So we'll enjoy this. We'll eat the blueberries first and then we'll crack on with the day. So, meal 1 consumed. We don't have a step goal today, but output is down. So all I'm doing is just walking for 5 to 10 minutes after every meal. So no active steps on top of that. Honestly, like the food's great. You know, obviously 1000 gram of carbs is fantastic when you're hungry. To be honest, I'm not even hungry. Like my daily diet's absolutely fine. I've not once had a hunger signal or craving as of yet. Like I could eat 4000 gram of carb, obviously, I'm in a prep. So like eating the food's not an issue, but on a day to day, like my food's fine. I have 5 meals a day. Am I ready for my next meal? Absolutely, but I'm not hungry. The main thing that's fucking kicking my ass is fatigue. So even if we didn't put the food in today, the de-output's going to do more than anything than the food today. So yeah, just chilling. I did legs a couple of days ago, and because of some complications that's gone on within myself personally, I didn't train legs for 2 weeks. So then I trained legs, devolume. Obviously I didn't devolume it and I full sent it, and then that's just really buried me, put me in a hole. So just pulling me out the hole will be nice. So just doing some light steps, nothing crazy after every meal, just to aid in GI transit rate and whatnot. But that meal went down absolutely bloody lovely. Really, really nice. Really nice meal. So back in the kitchen, guys, for meal 2, which you saw me prepare most of it earlier. It has been in the freezer well, it's been in the fridge for about an hour and a half and in the freezer for about an hour. 150 gram of VSM rice pudding with 20 gram of honey. We're going to add in 30 gram of the vegan whey. I'm going to mix it in. As I've said, my favourite whey, I absolutely love it. We've then got 50 gram of banana chopped up. More than 50 and I can't digest it too well, but that is a good tip for anyone out there that struggles with fruits and veggies and removes things from their diet. As I said, with my blueberries only being 50 gram, it might be the quantity that is an issue. So even if you can tolerate 20 gram of blueberry, 20 gram of banana, 20 gram of a little bit of veg, 20 gram of a strawberry or whatever, if you can just incorporate a small amount of variance throughout the day, slowly build that back up. And even if in the end you can't build that back up, even if you're getting just a couple of gram here and there, it's better than nothing. So it might not be that you have to remove it entirely. It might just be that the quantity is a little bit too much for you, and either space it out across the day or have a little bit of variance with just 20, 30, 50 gram. If you can get away with 20 and there's no issues, brilliant. Next week, try a little bit of 30 and then just move your way up. So 30 gram of whey going in, which I'm going to mix in. I do not do whey sludges on top of my rice pudding, or well, I was going to say cream of rice, but I can't have cream of rice anymore because of the flavourings in it. But regardless, I've never been a whey sludge guy. I know for meal 1 I had a kind of a whey pasting, but that's on its own. I would never put it on top. I don't know why, it's just it's just not for me. So 30 gram being mixed into this rice pudding, which is really nice and cold. And again, a tip for anyone that struggles, if you ever find that you have a big bowl of oats, you have a big bowl of rice pudding, cream of rice, and then within 20-30 minutes or even 10 minutes you rush into the bathroom, it's probably not that it digests so fast and super fast, it's probably the bolus of warm water, 500 ml, 400 ml, whatever, how much volume, if you volumize it even more, it's that volume of warm water immediately hitting the GI tract and causing you to immediately go to the toilet. So the way that I get around it is I have it cold. Now, it doesn't seem to impact me when it comes to rice in general, but again, it's soaked up a little bit more and cooked in a rice cooker. So yeah, just a little bit of a tip. Try it cold, get it in the freezer, and the cold water won't have the same effect, won't have that osmotic pull in the gut as the warm water does. Now, when it comes to my food as well, this is the only meal that I do leave like in a fridge or a freezer for a period of time. I cook everything fresh and I eat it within 20 minutes. Again, the longer that you leave something, once it's been cooked, even if it is low in histamine, the histamine will build up from there. So if you ever do struggle with digestive issues as well, even your chicken, your rice, make sure it's cooked there and then, and that you consume it within about 20 or so minutes. So, the whey is mixed in, that is absolutely delicious. We'll pop the banana on top, and then we've got 10 gram of Meriden Smooth cashew butter, which I think is the best. It is very much superior from a taste perspective to almond butter. Low salt on top, because we're only having low salt today. So here we have the finished product. This total is 34 protein, 8 fat, and 160 carbohydrates. So I'm going to sit downstairs here, watch a little bit of YouTube, eat that in peace before we do some more digestive steps, a little bit more work, then we'll have pre-workout.
A little bit of a struggle, to be honest. When I woke up, I just knew it was going to be a bit of a struggle day. So obviously,
Welcome back to the kitchen, guys, for meal 3, which is pre-workout here. Now, we have 155 gram of dry weight jasmine rice, 25 gram of honey, 50 carrot, 10 cashew, and 120 gram chicken breast. So this is 144 carb, 10 fat, and 42 protein. And we'll be eating this before we head off to the gym. As always with this, Glycotank and Turbo Digest. Actually, I'm not having intra-workout at the moment. I have pulled my intra-workout to reduce artificial sweeteners across the day, because I did notice there was little bits of upset around the training window, which I put down to that. I pulled my everything bagel seasoning, which was just like a bit of salt, garlic, and like poppy seeds. Pulled that, and I pulled the peppers as well. And so far, everything's been working much better with a reduction in artificial sweeteners, and then them seasonings and the peppers gone. So you notice that all my food has no seasoning now. There's no real artificial sweeteners coming in across the day. It's very whole food based, very low FODMAP, low histamine, and that's just what works for me. Look, in an ideal world, would I have an intra? Yeah. Would I have some seasoning? Yeah. Would I have more fruit and veg? Absolutely. It just doesn't work for me, and this is what digests really, really well. So I'm going to eat this now. Looking forward to it. And then today we've got pull and arms on the cards. So we should, with 3 meals prior, get a pretty good pump. And there it is. Beauty of almond butter or cashew butter as well in a prep is 10 gram. 10 gram goes a long way. So we are back from the gym, just cooking up our post-workout meal before we jump on this consult call with Austin Stout, for anyone wondering, who is the GOAT of digestion. He's someone that I've learned a lot from over the years regarding digestion itself. Obviously, I'm a very, very peculiar case study, which is why I've reached out and outsourced to someone who knows way more than I do, to see if he's got any pointers for the rest of this prep before and then after prep. I will be doing a full GI 360 and gut mapping and whatnot, because it does need a lot of attention, and it does need to, basically, I don't want to just paper over the cracks for forever. You know, short term, we're not slowing down in terms of the prep, as long as I can digest my food relatively okay and good, as long as I'm able to load as well into the show without any issues and fucking at least eat a little bit on show day and whatnot, that's absolutely fine with me. But long term, there is going to have to be a lot of management going on to just get to the bottom of it, as I've said. But very much looking forward to this call with Austin, because he is, as I've said, absolutely brilliant at what he does. So shout out to Austin, and I highly recommend, if anyone ever struggles with digestive issues that are outside of the norm, that's not just some food choices, some fucking processed food, or eating in a stressed environment, or stress itself, I massively recommend you check him out. Session was decent. A much better pump than I got after 800 carb last week. Well, after 2 meals during the 800 carb, obviously I had 3 meals this time around. Much better pump. Actually felt relatively full, which is fantastic. So that's obviously a win-win within itself, and still relatively sharp too. Some glute lines here and there coming through, which is fucking fantastic. Progressed on pretty much everything. Progressed on my bent over row, which is like my hinge for the week. I just had the one because I've had to pull volume down a bit and intensity. But yeah, progressing everything, which is amazing. So post workout, we have got, surprisingly, 275 gram sourdough with 30 honey, 30 gram of the Trained by JP vegan whey, and 5 caramel snacker jacks. So again, relatively high volume, which of course I wouldn't really want, but ultimately it is a necessity at this point for me to utilize foods that digest well, and all these foods do digest well. So I'm going to eat this while I'm on the call with Austin, and then I'll just kind of finish off my digestion steps on the call with him as well. But yeah, very much looking forward to this. As you all know, I love bread. So a really good consult with Austin. What was very nice is everything that I've done over the last 2 weeks to manage my gut, the inflammation, is absolutely spot on. Everything that he would do as well. I've done some extensive research into this. And look, when you get a problem yourself, and you know, deep dive into it and learn, it's also so beneficial from a coaching perspective that if I ever have clients with this, I know even more about the gut and digestion now. So everything was pretty much spot on. He had no complaints about anything. The couple of things that I'm going to introduce, we even discussed kind of what to do in peak week and peaking and whatnot, and things like that, and kind of the best strategies there in order to make sure that my GI tract is under as minimal inflammation as possible, and then also that I've got good gut motility as well, and that I am able to pass stools too. But yeah, fantastic. And now we're back with meal 5. So this is 45 protein, 12 fat, and 165 carb, which is another super bland meal. It is 185 gram of dry weight jasmine rice, 120 gram of chicken, 50 carrots, 7 gram macadamia nut oil, which is the goat, and 25 gram of honey. Okay, so again, super easy, relatively high volume, but super easy for me to digest. A little bit of carrot, macadamia nut oil for the essential fatty acids, and also just tastes unbelievable, with some honey just to reduce the volume a touch because honey's sitting great. And so far so good with the meals there. I feel pretty empty. Everything's partitioning fantastically well and digesting really well. So, you know, to be able to put this much food in and I'm getting somewhere, I'm absolutely buzzing. So I'm very excited to eat this meal. And then we've just got a little bit of work to wrap up because it's been a busy day with normal workload, training, consults about my gut. So we're catching up on a little bit and then we'll chill for the final meal this evening. So, final meal time for the both of us. I'll also run you through what I do take pre-bed for my digestion. We take some Sat B, which will support my microbiome and its yeast base. We take some Megaspore prebiotics. We take Turbo Regen, which is oral BPC KPV. I take this upon waking pre-bed. Colostrum, which is plenty of immunoglobulins in there to help drive down inflammation, repair the gut and whatnot, bring down that IgA and stuff. We also take Turbo Digest, and I believe that's everything for digestion currently pre-bed. Of course, we then take our regular subs, our Turbo Dreams, Pregnenolone, Cardiac, Magnesium, Vit D, Curcumin again, from an inflammatory perspective for me with my gut. I take that pre-bed too, alongside 15 gram of glycine. So, final meal going down with Norman licking his lips, drooling over it all, because like his daddy licks bread. We have got 3 Snacker Jacks, 4 corn cakes. The reason why I've got corn cakes is purely because I've run out of Snacker Jacks. Megan didn't restock. We've got 30 gram of whey, and then another mountain of sourdough, which I cannot wait for. Food sat really well today. Very happy. We'll eat the rice cakes and corn cakes first, then the whey, then the sourdough while we're chilling watching The Apprentice. 180 gram of carb going in this meal, barely any fat, 40 protein, yeah. The total is just sub 1000 carb for the day. And it's gone down a treat, you know, to say where I was with my GI tract and now for this to be able to go down. I'm absolutely buzzing. So we'll see the result in the morning, what I look like, what happens with body weight. Body weight's obviously going to be up because food volume's very high. But again, this is what works for me and what I have to do, you know. Would I load anyone else typically like this? No. But when it comes to me, my digestive tract and the foods that I can digest, this is best for me. So, you know, going into peak week and things like this, we will front load and then we'll back off the food, make sure we're maximally loaded and back off the food from there. But yeah, guys, like, subscribe, share as always. I hope you enjoyed seeing me eat 1000 gram of carb. I certainly have enjoyed eating it. And then we'll see if we're putting more in tomorrow, if we're back to the dig, but we're not far away now. Very close.